is...
Just financial freedom for sure. Financial freedom is like, it's subjective in a way because obviously, yes, financial freedom is, okay, I have a lot of money, I can do what the fuck I want, right? But I see financial freedom in a way of, having a team who can help create wealth with me where I don't have to do everything, right? I still only want to do a certain part of the business, which is more or less create ideas and things like that and acting upon it. Firstly, I have freedom now to create financial wealth. I did everything to avoid going to the bar, fighting those just triggers, I guess. It was kind of just breaking up some patterns that's been happening more often. It's just changed of just not liking alcohol at all. Is it bad to talk to yourself this much? Because every time I talk to myself on a daily basis inside my head,
I think one of the biggest things that I always had a hard time doing was, what are you gonna get at the end of it? What's the value you're gonna learn from my fuck up?
This thing basically happened where, in my job right now, I've been able to see something as a project that kind of brings everything together, even if it's just a project right now, but that thing that I can work every single day right now as my job, my 9 to 5, it could help me with my financial freedom. So that's been nice. Basically what's happening is there's been some people, they've been retiring. They're retired. And we're in an industry right now that we're trying to get into more. We're providing right now a product for data centers. So there's been an opportunity that, with research that I've been able to find some form of through hole or maybe some type of, what do they call it? There's like a gap that could definitely be filled with some of the technology that I already know, basically. So it's been a big project I've been working on, really. That's kind of been putting everything else going to that towards. That's kind of like towards the main goal right now. I think I figured out my main goal right now is, yes, have my creativity, quote unquote creativity, of what that is. I guess creativity is subjective, and I've kind of identified what that may mean to me a little bit. It's like creating a business in a way is still creating, right? Creating a product is still creating something. And I kept thinking creating was, writing a script and being on TV and movies and stuff. And don't get me wrong, that is something that I'll always want to still try. But I've always wanted to do that my own way anyways. But for creating as a whole of what I do on a everyday basis, very, very much instilled in me is doing projects like I'm about to start further with, creating this product, getting it patented, and going that route. So it's kind of that clarity of that, like it's kind of like I figured out some form of permission in a way where it's okay to create other than what I thought creating was, like movies and shit like that, right? It's like, okay, well, if the idea was to really get more eyes on projects and build some form of community that way, well, I suppose I can do that with building what I'm building with the business and the patents and all that shit. So that's kind of what's been clear. Yeah, so it's been really, really clear for me. And
so I just want to make sure that I got you. The main goal is what? You have
freedom. Just financial freedom for sure. Firstly.
Financial freedom is the main goal.
Yeah, it's the main goal. Financial freedom is like, it's subjective in a way because obviously, yes, financial freedom is, okay, I have a lot of money, I can do what the fuck I want, right? And that's kind of what it is, right? But I see financial freedom in a way of, having a team who can help create wealth with me where I don't have to do everything, right? Like I have my partner Ian, I have my partner now, David, in China, and these guys are ready to rock, and they're willing to do the things that we got to do to get to the next level, knowing that I still only want to do a certain part of the business, which is more or less create ideas and things like that and acting upon it. Firstly, where they can come on and scale it, right? That's kind of what it's becoming. And for me, it's like financial freedom in that way, where it's like, okay, I have freedom now to create financial wealth, right? And that goes with also the idea of creating the TV show, movies and stuff like that, or even just doing the videos like I'm doing right now with you and stuff. It all comes together. And it just seems so much clearer now that, Lotus Garden was always and always will be a thing that I will want to do, but it can still be done simultaneously easier if I'm just doing doing this right now. You know, it's just something that I've kind of came up with. So I have a habit now where pushing a button recording has now become something that is nothing for me in terms of something just to do, you know? Before it was like, there was a hesitation to even just doing that. And I got to figure out, okay, well, I got to find a videographer, I got to find a mic guy, I got to find an editor. And that kind of turned me all off from the get. Victoria, I don't know more I've told you about her. Victoria's song, we've been listening to her a little bit more in regards to like, basically everything we talk about more than anything. But every time I go up to set up my camera setup, for example, for my podcast or whatever, right? It's stressful. The cord doesn't go there, the thing's not lighting up, the mic's not turning on, it doesn't sound correct. Like, there's stressful things that I become contracted. I'm kind of creating in a form of stress right off the rip. So when I'm talking stuff like that, I just feel like I'm losing the connection between what I'm talking about and my body. So when I watch what I'm watching, it really becomes all over the joint. You know, it's all over the place. And it's like very hard to edit. And that's kind of one thing that I've been learning too, is like, you know, if I'm doing these type of things for myself specifically for now, or even an editor, it's got to be a lot more articulate, because it's really, really hard to go from thinking my thought process all over the place. And you've heard me talk, it can get all over the place sometimes, but it's like by doing this when I'm not stressed at all, things just seem so much easier for me. And it's become something that, you know, if that's a habit of some sorts for me, perfect. That's what I need. By me doing this for the past few days, it's a Vietnamese restaurant. It's a standalone location. They religiously only open 2 times a month just to pay their rent. So there's so many days available that I could rent out this place and start filming some stuff, you know? So the idea just came up, and it was just because I was doing this shit somehow. Usually I'm hitting the bar. And actually I ended up not doing that. I ended up doing I did everything to avoid going to the bar. I went, because it was like I was having this dialogue in my head all for about 2 hours. So I left work and I'm like, okay, I gotta do this package because it's late. I did the package. I'm like, all right. So after the package, we'll go to the bar and, you know, have a few beers and, you know, go home, right? But I'm like, oh, but I need my. So I'm like, okay, I'll go to the bar after I buy the gloves. And then I'm like, all right, cool. What if I were to just go to the cigar lounge firstly and then get a few beers? But then what happened was I just called my mom and I went home and I did yoga instead. And when I did the yoga, I felt like $1 million. It felt fucking good. And I've been doing yoga almost every day. Yesterday was our anniversary, but I've been doing yoga every day. I liked yoga when I was at the retreat, and I just like fucking yoga. So I have a lot of dialogue still fighting those just triggers, I guess. Like freedom, that's a trigger, yeah. Go get fucking smoked, yeah. Driving in a certain, you know, because I do know all these places, right? If I'm driving that same road, I know all the places that's within a 45-mile radius. I just know these things, right? So it was kind of just breaking up some patterns. That's what's been happening more often. I bragged more the next morning or the next day. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, I expected you to go to the bar type thing, but she was like, put it this way. If you went to the bar, I would have not judged you, but I would have questioned your actions on a regular basis type thing. Because it's kind of expected for me to do that. Oh, I'm free. I'm going to go to the restaurant and have a few drinks type thing. That's expected. It's kind of expected. Even for me as a person, from my actions, it is expected. So it's like, oh man, I broke the pattern. So that felt really nice.
Yeah.
In the past 2-3 months, alcohol in general with me they haven't gone hand in hand anymore. I don't know if it's because I've been able to start breaking up these patterns a little bit. Also having that space to realize every time I drink now, my body in general hasn't been the same. It's just changed of just not liking alcohol at all. Yeah, so that's been great too, because for example, yesterday I had 2 martinis yesterday, right? Small little guys. They were super small actually. It was kind of a rip-off. But you know, this morning I didn't feel like shit because I did everything fairly correctly with hydrations and stuff. But it was first of all, I really didn't, it's weird to say, but I really didn't even want the martinis really. It's just that was a habit as well that I noticed. Obviously if I'm going to a seafood restaurant, not obviously, but when I go to a seafood restaurant, I want, you know, some form of, a martini or a drink. And also it was celebratory because it was an anniversary, so I did get the martinis. But it was meh. But what's happening now is I'm really starting to feel all the actual buzziness of it when I do drink. Like, I'm like, oh wow, I had that, and why am I feeling so hot in the back of my neck, and why am I already getting a headache, and oh no, I'm feeling a little foggy already, this is kind of whack. And then, you know, I'm starting to like be super aware of how my body responds to alcohol, really, because it was, before it was never really like, I just kept doing it, and the only time I felt repercussions was really if I had way too many and I threw up, or if I had way too many and the morning after I feel like shit. But now it's like almost extremely quick reacting, my body. Is it bad to talk to yourself this much? Because every time I talk to myself on a daily basis inside my head, it's becoming better now and more positive. But are we supposed to be fucking talking to ourselves as much in our head? I can't tell. So I'm actually listening to I'm listening to myself. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because one of the things was about the exercises that's been really helping was, this is from that Victoria song chick. The metaphor is, all right, emotions are energy in motion, right? And when I get triggered, for all these years, I've been trying to hide and just put it away and do other things to keep that emotion, to not bring awareness to that emotion, right? But what I've been doing more, this is the practice she mentioned, was that if you feel the trigger of emotion or you feel anxious about something, basically dive into that storm of emotion, basically. Ask all the questions you need to see why you feel this way, why it's making you feel this way, what's the worst that can happen, what's the best that can happen afterwards. Like, really get up in there. And that's what I've been doing more often, even with Maura when we had our argument and shit. And then also, like, that's been like fucking tip top. It's been it helped my sleep. I've had some kick-ass dreams from it and stuff. It's been really interesting because there's so many up in there. And, you know, there's always going to be the triggers of it, but it's been helping me it's been helping my not overthinkingness, actually. Yeah. So that's been a cool little tool that I've been using more often. Like fucking 4 or 5 times a day, but yeah. The saying is we're humans because we have emotions. Is that what it's saying is? But we're only mammals who have emotions. So it's been something that, it's been nice. It's been the clarity. I mean, even like me going to work and stuff, I'm not doing it as much because, I mean, I think thankfully for a lot of the situations in general, the setup of what I have right now, I'm really lucky. So it's that thing also where it's like, if I was at a 9 to 5, for example, where they were on my ass, some of those corporations and shit do work. For one, I'd be like, all right, I don't know if I'm even gonna work here right now. But this is it's kind of prolonged my idea of keeping it going more than like leaving. So it's been interesting. You know, obviously I am an emotional person, so it could be one comment where someone's gonna trigger me in a way. But even with that, it's like, if I look at how things are right now, especially because it's wintertime too, it is what it is. But, you know, they want us to go in the same direction. We're both aligned with where we're trying to go. So has also been too, even with the emotional stuff that I've been going through and kind of, you know, talking with him more was, you know, I've lost a lot more. I've given more. I don't know if I'm giving. I don't want to give that part, but I'm just allowing things more and not trying to control everything. The saying "I don't give a fuck" is nice. It really is. But what happened when I said "I don't give a fuck" is I use "I don't give a fuck" as a way to brush it off. But basically, I'm not really looking into it to see if I really do give a fuck about it, because I do. I think if I'm saying if I don't give a fuck, that means I really do care about it. I just don't want to talk about it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's what happened. Was a lot of the times for a lot of things, I was like, all right, you know, ignore it, fuck it, it is what it is. But that built up a lot. And it's kind of like I've noticed that, and I can't realize that something that hurt me a lot was saying it so much for the past 2-3 years because of the weight that I was going through and the pressure and all that stuff. But I've realized that I do give a lot of fucks, and I need to start caring a little bit more about what I'm not giving a fuck about more and trying to just like understand why I'm saying these type of things and try to ignore it, for example, because a lot of the stuff happened even for the financials really more than anything. And I took I wouldn't say I took advantage of it, but the system itself is set up for me to prolong things. It built up so much that it's like, all right, we allowed you to prolong things, dude, but still need to do this, this, and this. And all we're going to do now is start reminding you more and more because you stopped giving a fuck for so long. We heard you. Like, it's that type of dialogue that I was going through. And I'm like, all right, well, I do give a fuck very much so. I don't want to fuck the system. I want to keep my business going. I don't want to lose my house. Like, I do give a shit. I do care a lot. So it's something that kind of like... that came about too. Like, oh, I got pantsed during a live event. That never really happened, you know, what that humiliation feeling was. So I've never really been able to figure out some things, you know, even like going back to even when I was maybe in second grade, the ball was kicked at the fence and everybody went into class. I had that, it's that same heart feeling. And maybe that's what I was feeling, that humiliation a little bit of what that is. But I was never really able to pinpoint certain reactions or certain events to a word like humiliation. That was kind of what it is, or put a label on it, right? But sometimes it feels good to do that because I'm like, oh, that's a good reminder, you know? But when something happens, right, I'm not cognizant of putting a name on that or a label on it or how I'm feeling. That sucked, or that was good. That was the only two. 5 weeks later, I'm like, wait a minute. That fucking sucked. And then it's like, oh, all right, well, fuck it happened already, whatever. You know, that type of conversation maybe. So that happens, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Why do I keep straying away so much from any form of topic? And that's like, for example, the recording that I had a week ago, and I'm like, where the fuck were you going with this, Phil? Like, where are you as a person? Like, what's going on? Where you thought talking about freedom and what that had to do with like Guatemalan politics. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I tried like articulating, I tried making something of it, and you know, maybe it was there, maybe I can do it, but at that point where it was like, oh no, now I'm recording myself doing this, like, dude, you lost it. It's just gone. So the way of articulating for me, yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I always had a hard time doing was basically talking to you or using eyes. That's really been my biggest one too, where I got really like jammed up. I'm like if you're talking in a video, right, for, you know, in a matter of my perspective, and you're watching this, I gotta create the context for you to wanna watch me have this realization, for example. What are you gonna get at the end of it? What's the value you're gonna learn from my fuck up, for example, right? So what happens, I really get really like twisted on, you know, talking to you rather than talking about my experience, where it sounds like I, you know? That's been a big one too. And I think that's something that I got hung up on also, especially with the script writing. The script, the lines of the script was, I get conflicted in on, is it making it sound like I'm on a riff about myself and something I learned, or is it something that you can learn by watching this video? So that's something that I've had hang-ups on as well. Yeah, that's what I get when I watch myself. I'm like, if I don't even know what I'm saying based off of me not sounding natural, there's no way in hell, you know, someone's gonna see that themselves. So that, you're right. It's kind of like how I look at it, like even for like actors and stuff. I'd assume once they're able to get the words itself, they get a little free range based on how to say it, if not directed how to say something. So I kind of see it that way too, you know. So it's a good practice for me, it really is. So, you know, because like in either event where I was even doing my, you know, when I was doing my speech at the CES show last year, which fucking just happened, the new one just happened, which is rad. It's already been a fucking year. But that script that I had in mind, you know, it changes sometimes when you're feeling that heat. And I really don't want to do that. I want to stick to a script in some ways. It feels good sometimes, you know. It's just once you find yourself, you know, paddling out in the ocean, you're like, oh no, fuck. What would you do that? You're like your story or something? How do you see that happening with you when you're doing, is it, or just topic to topic at that point? I've seen some pretty bad, what's it called? Morris makes fun of me. She's like, dude, you're talking shit to an AI. Like, you're right, I am talking shit to an AI. Because some of it's just so bad. Like, I've talked, I don't know what the amount of hours is on ChatGPT. I thought you knew me better, bro. Like, you don't know how I sound, fuckface? No, but, you know, that's what happens too. Like, you know, I do my, what's it called? I do my conscious stream of thought, get it on from my piece of paper to ChatGPT, I don't give the ChatGPT the actual credit it deserves to be able to read my fucking handwriting. So that's one bad rap. And then number two is I'm looking at how it's wording these sentences, and they're like, yeah, no doubt, dude, let's do this and this and this, and you sound super good. I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. Well, hopefully not, because I just built my fucking product that I'm about to patent off of the fucking thing. So hopefully not. It's a, but yeah, that's a, oh, can you hear me? Sorry. My internet's been so bad. But yeah, I mean, no, I totally get it. But I think that's the best route that's been so far. And, you know, even going back to lighting, I really just want to get my lighting better. And that's basically it. This mic has been a godsend in some ways. I still have my lav. I have this. So I don't think sound is too crazy, especially with the enhancements that they have now. Like even Premiere Pro. At a certain point, it gets pretty rad. Like if you do 100% enhancement, it's pretty terrible, because it just sounds so clear and choppy. Let's go. When you were doing that Marty one, that seemed like a pretty fast turnaround when we just had that realization of how good that marketing was. Like, how long did that take you to make that video and things like that? Like, who are you talking to, you think? I feel like you were making it as I texted you type shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was 2-3 hours right after we said it. And he posted the video. That's right, when he fucking did his fucking music video. Like, that was like, what? Do you have a, what's it called? Do you have any, not call to action stuff, but you have a website, right? Well, I mean, obviously the power's in the DMs, obviously, and stuff, but I feel like a website's still pretty solid. Yeah, it's hilarious. First of all, I didn't realize he has an orange tree. Because every time we see him, he's like, first of all, he's ripped. He's like, and then change your life. Like, he does something where it's like, what? Well, mental health's great. If you get into mental health, stuff like that, it's always good. He's got what's called backbone on it. I think one of the, maybe it's one of the things because he's put the reps in terms of being a rapper. He's well spoken. He can articulate for sure. If you're doing that type of speed in that type of environment, it's like hard for me to believe that it would be any form of scripting on that. This is the Chinese guy. He's from Toronto. He does predictive history on YouTube. His name is Professor Jang. Yeah, I love. Because first of all, I love that type of stuff in general. But so what he's a professor, so he's legit. But I'm like, dude, if I could speak like this, I'd be extremely happy. Just as a person, not like. Not speaking like that, like with all the history and stuff like that. It's hilarious. All he has is this and a marker, a digital marker no less. But like I find he's hilarious just because he's just so. It's just, you know, there's a lot of people out there who are not riffing, but they're yelling at you in some ways about a certain topic, and I don't want to be that person who's making that type of noise. But there's other ways of telling it in a way where you can still get it out articulately, or what do you fucking call it? You can say it properly where it can be taken in properly. And Professor Jang, he's fucking doing it. Like, however he's doing it, like he's subliminally saying that, you know, for example, the United States is taking over and doing what they're doing, but he's saying it in a way where it's not triggering even, you know, certain supporters and stuff. So that's like how I really like to articulate and get to that point. And he's a professor. He's doing this to teach kids and shit, which is like his job. But as a person going down the rest of my life, I'd really hope to start to get to that point. And maybe that's where it starts with just understanding how you talk, like understanding how I talk in a way where people can communicate or listen to me. That's something that I really just got to figure out better at. Because, you know, even like when I was talking to my, you know, I was doing my recordings and stuff like that, right? And I'm like, I was actually like furious because I'm like, I don't understand how I was able to live 35 years and communicate with people and connect with people. I have no fucking idea. Because when I talk on video, I'm like, whoa, like how are people so nice to me to listen and try to translate what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I will take you for a ride. That's one thing I didn't think about as a reframe. Like, I didn't think about that. You know, even because sometimes when I listen to people like talk like that, like him specifically,